Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about what the difference between a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder engine and a 1.2 liter 4-cylinder engine is. Which one should you prefer? There are automobile manufacturers today who are producing cars with 1.2 liter 3-cylinder and some are producing 1.2 liter 4-cylinder engines. Now let's take an example of the 3-cylinder engine. We have Tata with the Tata Nexon and the Tiago who have 1.2 liter 3-cylinder engines. Now in the case that the engine in the Tata Nexon is turbocharged. And we have even the Ford Freestyle which is a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder engine. Now let's take some examples of cars which are 4-cylinder engines. We have manufacturers who produce 1.2 liter 4-cylinder engines, like we have the i20, we also have the Baleno, and we also have the Honda. So many manufacturers provide 1.2 liter 4-cylinder engines. So let's understand why some provide 3 cylinders and some provide 4 cylinders and what the difference between the two is. We're also been talking about the pros and the cons of a 3-cylinder and if you should consider buying a 3-cylinder engine or a 4-cylinder engine hatchback. But before that guys, I would like to tell you all that if you all haven't already subscribed and if you're here for the first time, please hit the subscribe button because this channel is all about automobile content. We create content regarding automobile reviews, news, even a lot of technical aspects, and you let me know what you want to talk about next or what you want me to make a video on next in the comment section and we'll make a video on that as well. Also guys, I've recently gone through my YouTube analytics and realized that around 90% of my viewers aren't my subscribers. So guys, please subscribe. That will motivate me to continue making a lot of good videos for y'all. And y'all can also let me know your feedback in the comment section. Enough of self-promotion guys, let's get to the video. The comparison between the 1.2 liter 3-cylinder and a 1.2 liter 4-cylinder engine. And which one is better. So guys, previously for the Ford Figo, Ford had provided a 1.2 liter 4-cylinder engine. It removed that engine from its lineup and for its present Figo and the Freestyle, in and when it introduced the Freestyle, it provided a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder engine. Now this engine is a brand new engine and they removed one piston. So why do automobile manufacturers reduce the engine size, even the displacement at sometimes? We're going to talk about some examples of that as well. For that I need to quickly explain to you all or give an overview of what the 4-stroke engine is. And in our, for example, a Polo, we have a 4-cylinder 4-stroke engine and that is defined as one of the most perfect and harmonious engines because everything works perfectly in line. Now let's take a 4-cylinder engine. This is what the side elevation looks like. We have the outer 2 pistons in the upward direction while the inner 2 pistons are in the lower direction. A 4-stroke basically consists of 4 activities that are happening at one time. The first stroke being the suck, squeeze, bang, blow. The first being the suck, the second being the squeeze, the third and the most important being the power stroke or the bang, and the third is the blow. I'll make a detailed video. Let me know if you all want me to make a detailed video on the combustion engine and the 4-stroke engine. We can talk about that at length in that video. But in this video, I'm just going to touch up on that and focus more on the positive and the negative aspects of the 3-cylinder as compared to the 4-cylinder engine. So if you look at the elevation of a piston, it is connected at the bottom to a crankshaft. The crankshaft rotates twice, that is 720 degrees, 360 plus 360, twice it rotates. And that means if you take 720, that's a total rotation in a 4-cylinder engine of the crankshaft. If you divide 720 divided by 4, you get 180. That means a piston during its power stroke has to perform energy of 180. It pushes the crankshaft or it rotates the crankshaft by 180, and as soon as one piston is done with its power stroke, the next piston is in line to perform the next power stroke. And if you look at the firing order of a 4-cylinder piston, it is 1 3 4 2. Now the firing order is 1 3 4 2 and not 1 2 3 4 because if it had to be 1 2 3 4, there would be a lot of weight and a lot of heat coming from the explosion on the crankshaft on the left hand side, which would as a result be the engine rocking back and forth. And to prevent that from happening, what they have done is the 4-cylinder fire order as a result is 1 3 4 2. Now let's quickly look at the 3-cylinder engine. The 3-cylinder engine has obviously 3 cylinders, and if you look at the side profile, the firing order is 1 3 2. This is again done to prevent the extreme rocking moment of the crankshaft. Now on a 4-stroke 3-cylinder engine, the crankshaft again rotates 720 degrees, that is 2 complete rotations, and that is 720 degrees divided by 3, which is 240 degrees. That means a piston in a 3-cylinder engine has to perform more as compared to that in a 4-cylinder engine. While a 4-cylinder engine has to perform 180 degrees, the 3-cylinder engine, one piston has to perform 240 degrees. That's 60 degrees more. That means there's a span of time when there's a lag, that's 60 degrees lag after the 180. So after performing 180, there's a 60 degrees lag in a 3-cylinder engine. That is one of the things that used to cause extreme vibration and loud noises in low revs. Now 20 years back in Europe, there was a demand for more fuel efficient cars, fuel efficient hatchbacks, and that's when automobile manufacturers started creating 3-cylinder engines. The price of fuel in Europe had shot up, and as a result, automobile manufacturers had to provide smaller and more fuel efficient engines for their cars. because that was the demand at that time. But 20 years back, the advancement in automobile industry and the engineering was not as refined as it is now, and as a result, at low RPMs, when you're idling the car used to make extremely loud vibrations and a lot of noise, and as a result, automobile manufacturers got rid of the 3-cylinder engines and went back to the conventional 4-cylinder engines, because a 4-cylinder engine is supposed to be one of the most harmonious engines and the most perfectly balanced engines, because as soon as one piston is done with its stroke, the next piston is ready for its power stroke. It was in proper sequence and there was no lag, like I have explained in the 3-cylinder engine. So the 60 degrees lag is one of the negative aspects of the 3-cylinder engine, but engineering and automobile engineering has advanced to such a degree where automobile manufacturers have minus the feel of the 60-degree lag that you would otherwise feel in a very old 20-year back 3-cylinder engine. Now let's take some examples of famous sports cars with 3-cylinder engines. This is one car that you'll always recognize, the Mini Cooper. The Mini Cooper has a 1.5 litre 3-cylinder engine that produces 135 brake horsepower. Yes, it is a turbocharged engine, and this is incidentally the same engine that you would see in the i8. Yes, the famous i8 that with the butterfly wings, the one that's owned by the famous Shah Rukh Khan. That is the same engine that is in this i8, and that engine is with a hybrid engine that produces much more brake horsepower, but nonetheless it is a 3-cylinder engine, the 1.5 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. Another extremely famous car that has just recently launched is known for the fact that it has used a 3-cylinder engine is a hypercar. Yes guys, I'm talking about the Koenigsegg Gemera. The Koenigsegg Gemera is a 3-cylinder car, and it is also the first hypercar to have 4 seats, be a 4-seater, and also the first hypercar to have a 3-cylinder engine. This engine is a 2-litre twin turbocharged 3-cylinder engine that produces 600 brake horsepower. 600 brake horsepower from a 3-cylinder engine. Can you imagine guys? That's a crazy amount. I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about that. The reason the Koenigsegg has removed the massive 8-cylinder engines and replaced it with a small tiny 3-cylinder engine is because it required a lot of luggage space as well as a 4-seater car from a hypercar, and they had to do away the massive V8 engines and put a 3-cylinder engine. So if you see the trend, automobile manufacturers are going smaller because with the advanced engineering you can create a lot of more power even from smaller engines. Let's take some other examples of famous automobile manufacturers who have reduced the size of the engine. In the 2005 M5 of BMW, they use a 5-litre 10-cylinder engine that produces 500 brake horsepower. It was a naturally aspirated engine. In the 2011 model, that was a generation after that, and even in the present day generation, BMW is using a 4.4 litre V8 engine that is a twin turbocharged V8 engine that produces 550 brake horsepower. So they have gotten rid of 2 cylinders, made the engine even smaller and compact, and they have added turbochargers and made it more powerful. This is the direction that automobile manufacturers are taking to downsize the engine, make it smaller, but at the same time give more power to the engine. Another automobile manufacturer who has done the same thing and has followed the same trend is the Ford with its Ford GT. Now the Ford GT primarily had a 5.4 litre V8 engine. It was a supercharged V8 engine, and the present generation they have replaced that with a 3.5 litre V6 engine, a turbocharged V6 engine. It's known as the EcoBoost, and the reason that is because the present generation Ford GT is designed so compact that they had to reduce the size of the engine as a result to fit it in. So let's now get to the pros and cons of a 3-cylinder engine as compared to a 4-cylinder engine. Now, automobile manufacturers reduce the number of pistons in their engines for a lot of reasons. One primary reason is for space constraint. The fact that if you have big engines, you have to really accommodate them in a larger bay, and right now cars are becoming more compact and smaller. As a result, they need to have smaller engines to fit them into the engine bay. And also, if you have a smaller and a compact engine, that same engine can be used in different automobiles. Like for example, the Volkswagen Jetta has a 1.8 litre petrol engine that goes in the Skoda Octavia as well as goes in the Audi A3. This is the same engine, and it's remapped to produce more brake horsepower for each car, but it's the same exact engine block. So that completes point 1, compactness. The next reason why automobile manufacturers reduce pistons is because that also increases the fuel efficiency. They make the engine smaller and the displacement less, and that reduces the fuel efficiency. At the same time, you can still create more power because of the engineering refinement that has happened with the technology at date. Coming to the next positive point. By removing one piston, what essentially has been done is that the amount of weight of the engine has reduced. The engine has to not only carry the weight of the car and to lug the weight of the car, especially as well as the passengers in it, but it also has to take its own weight. Now, taking its own weight means dead weight, and by reducing a piston and by making them smaller and reducing the displacement, the engines become smaller and weigh less. That also increases the mileage of the car. The next important point why automobile manufacturers prefer smaller engines is because they are cheaper to make. Also, in an engine, if you reduce a piston or two, that means there are less moving parts. That means the wear and tear caused due to friction inside the engine is much less. That means the mileage is going to be more. and also means in theory that the engine will last longer. I repeat, in theory that means the engine will last longer. So for example, in theory a 3-cylinder engine would last longer than a 4-cylinder engine because the amount of moving parts inside the engine is much less in the 3-cylinder as compared to the 4-cylinder. Coming to the negative aspects, the first one is the plane imbalance. Because it's a 3-cylinder and it's an odd number as compared to the 4-cylinder, which is an even number, the piston movement and the load on the crankshaft is slightly imbalanced. As a result, 3-cylinder engines are known for being more noisy and vibrating more. But that has been taken care and refined to a very great extent in cars of nowadays as compared to what it was 20 years back. So that negative aspect has been removed. The next is the 60-degree lag that I spoke about earlier is primarily known for in the 3-cylinder engines, but that again has been gotten rid of because of the refinement and the ingenuity that is available right now with technology. And the last point is because of the imbalance and the odd number of cylinders, there's the slight imbalance that we spoke about earlier has to be countered by the crankshaft, as the crankshaft has to be made heavier. Okay, so that sums up the pros and the cons of having a 3-cylinder engine. Now guys, having said that the pros are more than the cons of having a 3-cylinder engine, it actually makes sense because 3-cylinder engines are now created by automobile manufacturers in a manner to make really refined engines, and you also get better fuel efficiency. Also, automobile manufacturers go through a lot of research and development resources and a lot of money spent on creating a brand new engine. So Ford, when it comes to this Freestyle, has not only just provided a brand new engine, but has spent a lot of money and research in creating this brand new engine compared to the very old engine that we see in the Baleno or we see in the i20. So in short, yes, a 3-cylinder engine which is brand new, like in the sense the Tata Nexon and its brand new engine, the 1.2 litre engine that they have had, and this 1.2 litre Dragon engine that's there in the Ford Freestyle are engines worth considering because they are more refined in technology aspects and they will perform much better than your 5-year-old or 6-year-old engine that you see in the i20 and in the Baleno or in the Jazz. So anyway guys, that wraps up this video. If you all enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, if you all enjoy this video, we'll make a lot of more content like this. Let me know what you want me to make a video on next in the comment section, and you can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter with the same name, The Motoring Gossip, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.